All right, so now it's time to cut our materials. So let's go ahead and start with the lining first. And I chose this beautiful canvas, which I've had this for years. But let's go ahead and get our lining cut out first. And we're going to use the body in order to do so. And I have basically a grain line here, and that grain line is there, so I'll be able to match up, make sure that my stripes are going to be vertically aligned inside of the bag and that they won't be crisscross, or I'm a perfectionist, so we'll blame it on that. So I can kind of see through the paper to know that I am matched up where I'm supposed to be in regards to that, my stripes being perfectly aligned inside of the bag. All right, now I can go ahead and prepare to cut this out. I'll be using my cutting mat and my rotary blade to cut this out. And I'll just go around carefully, making sure not to cut the actual paper. Now let's cut some leather. And I chose a metallic, it's kind of like a pewter color, and it happens to have a contrast black backing, which is basically black suede on the underside of the leather. But I always love a distressed look. All right, so now we're going to take our body pattern, and there's no direction on here as far as the leather's concerned, no print rather, but you'll just lay it out. And of course, me being the perfectionist as I am, I like to minimize waste, especially when it comes to leather. So I'll just try to find an appropriate area, which I've already found, but sometimes you have to scour around the leather to find good placement. But I'm going to go with this for now. So the little minimal waste will be here because I'm going to cut all the way around starting at this point. And I'm going to use my same rotary cutter. Sorry for the camera shaking. All right, there's that. And I'm gonna come back around and mark my notches before I begin to sew. So don't worry about marking your notches at this point, unless if you want to. I think I shifted a little bit, so always be mindful of the shift that may happen when you don't have weights, pattern weights to use. And carefully go around and around till you meet that other side. What you think we've got it? All right, so there is the body piece. For the actual fringe part, I am planning to use the same metallic as the body. So in the instructions, I recommend that you cut a 6 by 4 inch rectangle. So let me turn this around, and hopefully you have the right tools that you need to accomplish this. So I'll start here. I have a gel pen that I like to use when it comes to marking leather. It's kind of hard to see, but we'll make it through. So that was 6, and then I'm going to come down 4. Then I'm going to go back across. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because after all, it will be ultimately small strips cut and rolled up into a tassel. So, you know, the length doesn't have to be perfect. Matter of fact, the width may end up being trimmed off depending on how thick your hide is. You may not need the full 6 inches in width because it may be too much to actually fit into the cap of the tassel holder. All right, so I can see my lines. You probably can't see them, but I can see them just fine. And the beautiful part of this tassel is it's going to have that nice contrast in the tassel. So on the back side it being leather, on the back side it being black suede, and the front side it being this nice metallic. All right, so now I've cut enough fringe to know that I don't have to have it exact and perfect. So I will just start to cut upwards to the top. So we're cutting to and not through. So if you have about a 1/2 inch clearance along the top, then that's perfectly fine. So you can use your eye to adjust. You know, they're not all going to be the same width, which is fine. Like I said, the whole point of this is to create strips so they kind of dangle and dazzle while they're hanging off of, in this case, the clutch handbag. Now you do want to make sure that you try to stay as straight as possible, but in the long run it's not going to make a huge difference with how it operates. All right, that's a chunky one, so I'm gonna go ahead and divide that up a little bit more so you can see that this is very easy. Some people just think too hard about things, and you just kind of need to do it. And then you can brag and say, this is hand cut fringe. Doesn't look like that machine made stuff for this unique bag that you're making. All right, so we're nearing the end. I may end up cutting off of some of this length, the 6 inch, actually, yes, the 6 inch length. Because once I start to roll it up, it may be too much fringe. But this was just a good starting point for those who have various widths or thickness of leather. And while we're here, I'm not gonna glue it yet, but you know, when it's time, okay, I might as well. Let me get my glue. All right, so at this time, we're going to add the contact cement. You don't need a lot right now, but just make sure you have enough. And at the top, we're just gonna kind of brush on the cement, get a little bit more. And I'm gonna let it sit for a second so it can become a little tacky. And then this is basically a trial by error, so to speak. So when it's time to start our jelly roll, we're gonna roll it up. And then when I get to a certain point, I'm gonna stop and see if it's going to be too much fringe to where I have to cut it off. All right, so I think it's tacky now, so I'm gonna start my tight roll, and I say tight because I don't want it to be loose. So the best that you can, go ahead and start rolling, and it'll gradually become thicker, of course, but just make sure that you stay flush with that edge and that it doesn't go over or under. All right, so we're still in good shape here. Looks like it might end up being a perfect fit for the tassel holder. All right, I got a little off course here, but I can back it up and rewind or wound or roll. That's the word, re-roll. All right, so there is the beginning of our tassel. I'm gonna take my holder, and oh, that's perfect. It's a perfect fit. All right, so now what I like to do, because those two holes are there, I believe it's for those who might want to add a little extra threading through, but I don't know how you could do that with leather being this thick. Maybe it was originally meant for like a fabric tassel of sorts, maybe vinyl or something that could be penetrated a little bit easier than leather for a hand needle to get through. But anyway, I like to place a little masking tape to cover those holes. If not, the contact cement could seep through the holes and it'll create a mess on the outside, which you don't want. All right, so now I'm going to fill or kind of coat the inside of this opening with contact cement, and this part is a little tricky. I got a little extra cement going on, but once it starts dripping, I can go ahead and carefully line the inside, because I can't stick the brush in there because it'll create a mess. So I've done this enough times to know that I just need to let the cement fall as it may. All right, and you don't need a lot. Of course, you can't see inside of there, but I know that it's enough to hold my tassel in place, and all you do is securely fit it in there, squeeze it, shove it, make sure it's in there real good. And sometimes I'll come to the center of the fringe, just let the fringe kind of open like an octopus, and find that middle, and I'll find something to stick down in there to make sure that it's nice and secure on the inside or the center of the tassel. All right, and we have a tassel. To create less waste of the actual leather, to snugly fit my pieces in together, because they're pretty much all aligned to fit like a puzzle. So I am going to break out my ruler, and it looks like this side is already on a nice straight cut, so I know that I can scoot this down to that point, and I will kind of outline this strap here, and my two marks, I'll go ahead and connect those, because I'm going to come right on top of it and start the second strap placement, right? Just like that. And I'm going to mark again some connecting marks here, and I'll draw in that second strap like so. Okay, and now so I just want to corner these off so they'll be the same length, just like that, and like that. And the whole purpose of this is to not waste any more leather than what we need to, because I hate having to throw away leather that could have been used if I would have properly placed my pieces, in which I'm showing you now how to better do that. All right, so now we can go ahead, since this is also straight, match that to the top of that strap that was just created, and I'm gonna follow again the same method, marking the top of that straight area. And I'm gonna draw across. Surprisingly, this technique works really well for accessories, but not necessarily for clothing. All right, so now I can just round my corners, since I have the main part of the top closure trace around those corners here. And same thing on the opposite side. If I can draw, it's isn't that hard, I'm just tracing. All right, and then I'm gonna trace this opening while I'm here. Right. Okay, so we have that piece. All right, and then from the top of that top closure, we're going to start that detail, that center detail. And since that's the last one, I'll just go ahead and trace straight across here. That shifted a little bit after the fact, which is fine. And then I won't pick up my ruler for this part. I'll just go ahead and trace that. And I left a little room on the side for the D-ring, which is slightly shorter than that center detail, but I can still use the line below as an extension. So I have this leather conditioner. I'll take a little bit of this and just a little bit. You don't need a lot, a little dabble, do you? Actually, I'm gonna rub some of that off. And you can remove gel marking. I'll just kind of show you on this piece, the strap piece, which we're gonna end up cutting away, you know, the extra for a nice clean line. But you can use this to remove any markings. See that marking? Be gone. I'll show you again in case you didn't see the first time. Marking be gone. See that? So there's a little tip from me to you. And this only works for gel pens, not ink pens. Well, some ink pens are gel pens, but these are specifically called gel pens, all right? Not an ink pen. So my markings are removed.